Millennium Sports World. Today we will present local and international sports stories, including tennis, MMA, boxing, golf, auto race, hockey, baseball, basketball, soccer, and some more sports news. So let's find out what's waiting in today's sports world. At first, let's have a look on today's tennis stories. Jessica Pegula sent the US into the Billie Jean King Cup finals, where the Americans will have the chance to extend their record for most titles. Pegula and Coco Gauff both won twice in a 4-0 victory over Austria in Delray Beach, Florida. Pegula clinched the best-of-5 tie for the Americans with a 6-1, 6-3 victory over Austria's Julia Greve on Saturday. I think it's fun and a privilege to be in this moment and do it, the third-ranked Pegula said. Obviously a little bit of pressure, but I think it's fun to get up for those types of matches. The victory gave the Americans a 3-0 lead, and Gauff followed by reuniting with former partner Katie McNally to beat Cynthia Cross and Melanie Kleffner 6-1, 6-4. Pegula also won her singles match Friday after number 6 Gauff, playing in her hometown, beat Greve in the opener. Now, the American can eye a 19th title in the women's team event. I think knowing all of the American women, they're all competitive, so I'm sure they're going to want to bring that cup home too, US captain Kathy Rinaldi said. France, Spain, the Czech Republic, Kazakhstan, Germany, Canada and Italy also secured berths in the finals, scheduled for November 7-12 at a site to be determined. Those nations will join reigning champion Switzerland, 2022 runner-up Australia and one wildcard recipient at the finals, with one spot still be determined from the qualifiers. Andrei Rublev rallied from 4-1 down in the final set to beat Holger Rune 5-7, 6-2, 7-5 in the Monte Carlo Masters final on Sunday for the first Masters title of his career. The fifth-seeded Russian clinched victory on his second match point with an ace, stood still for a moment to check if the ball was in and then lay on his back for several moments to savor the moment. The sixth-seeded Rune climbed over the net to go over and congratulate him. I don't know what to say. Losing 4-1, 0-30, saving break points. Somehow I did it, the 25-year-old Rublev said. I was deep inside hoping at least I would have one chance. Rune missed a golden chance to clinch his second Masters title after beating Novak Djokovic with a stunning comeback at the Paris Masters last November. This time it was the opposite. The 19-year-old Dane let the match slip and lost his nerve in the 11th game of the decider, hitting 2 balls out of the court in frustration. I was definitely in control in the third set. Didn't manage to close it out, Rune said. Just go to see what I did wrong, what I can do better, and move on. Because, you know, the most important tournament of the clay season is the French Open. The crowd cheered him when he hit the balls out and he sarcastically encouraged them to do so. But Rune double faulted to give his opponent the chance to serve for victory, and Rublev sealed a 14th career title. Rublev had lost his 2 previous Masters finals at Monte Carlo and Cincinnati in 2021, but stayed focused. Now, latest MMA story. Max Holloway may not be champion, but he is still one of the best featherweights in the sport, and he proved that yet again in the UFC Kansas City main event. After falling to Alexander Volkanovski for the third time, many wondered if perhaps Holloway was ready to pass the torch to the next generation of contenders, starting with Arnold Allen, who came into their fight riding 10 UFC wins in a row. But Holloway sent a rather emphatic reminder that he is not going anywhere, putting on a vintage performance Saturday to wrap up a unanimous decision victory over 5 hard-fought rounds. Holloway even managed to rattle off a late flurry that helped him score a knockdown on Allen just before the final horn sounded. The official scorecards read 49-46, 49-47 and 48-47, with Holloway getting the nod and putting himself right back in the title picture at 145 pounds. With the win, Holloway eliminates another potential contender in the featherweight division as he anxiously awaits the upcoming title fight between Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez later this year. As for Allen, he was understandably upset with the loss, although he still had nothing but praise for Holloway following the fight. Now it's time for latest golf story. Australian rookie Grace Kim won the Lottie Championship on Saturday at Breezy Hockley Country Club for her first LPGA Tour title, beating Yiliu and Eugene Sung with a birdie on the first hole of a playoff. While Liu and Sung scrambled after hitting their second shots to the left of the green on the par 5 18th, the 22-year-old Kim went over the water to the right, then chipped to 8 feet to set up her birdie. I definitely wanted to have a good go at it knowing that the green wasn't the best, I guess, angling from where we were, Kim said. I would have to admit that I wasn't planning to go that aggressive. I did push it right, so just letting you guys know. Yeah, I got lucky. Liu made a par and Sung had a bogey, hitting her third over the green and passed Kim's second. Sung finished with a 69, getting up and down from the front right bunker on 18 with a 9-footer. The 22-year-old South Korean played on a sponsor exemption after winning the Lotte Open last year on the Korean LPGA. Now it's time for some auto race stories. Rally driver Craig Breen was killed in an accident Thursday during a test event ahead of a World Championship race in Croatia, his team said. Police were investigating the full circumstances of the 33-year-old Irish driver's death, which was attributed to skidding off track. Daniel Saskin, president of the organizing committee of the Croatia rally, said at a news conference. Hyundai Motorsport said it was deeply saddened to confirm Breen's death following an accident during the pre-event test for the Croatia rally. Co-driver James Fulton was unharmed in the incident that occurred just after midday local time, the team said in a statement. Hyundai Motorsport sends its sincerest condolences to Craig's family, friends and his many fans. Hyundai Motorsport will make no further comment at this time. Breen had competed in World Rally Championship events since 2009 for various teams. The event in Croatia was scheduled to start next week. On behalf of the FIA, I wish to extend our sincere condolences to the family and friends of Craig Breen following his passing during a private testing accident in Croatia, said Mohammed bin Sulaim, the president of governing body FIA. Our thoughts and prayers are with his loved ones and the entire rally community at this difficult time. 2 weeks of turmoil in NASCAR's appeal process has resulted in changes in the sanctioning body's rulebook as more penalties were levied against Henrik Motorsports following last weekend's event at Richmond Raceway. Starting immediately, NASCAR can now publish the National Motorsports Appeals Panels and the final appeals officer's justification for modifying or rescinding a penalty. However, the action those handling an appeal can take has been restricted. Under the changes, the appeals panel and the final appeals officer may not completely remove any element of the originally assessed penalty provided in the penalty notice as defined in Rulebook Section 10.5.2. The determination of penalties, modifications to a penalty are limited to the minimum and maximum ranges as listed in the rulebook. An example provided by NASCAR states that if an assessed penalty consisted of point reductions, monetary fines, and suspensions, all three elements of the originally assessed penalty must remain. However, the amount of each element could be adjusted within the minimum and maximum penalty ranges. Now latest MLB story. Shunned by major league clubs, Trevor Bauer is trying to find his way in Japan, where fans are drawn by his near-celebrity status and seemed unconcerned by domestic violence allegations against him. The 2020 Cy Young Award winner pitched his first competitive game in almost 2 years on Sunday and said he is almost ready to debut in Japanese baseball after being shunned by major league teams. Pitching for the Yokohama Bastards minor league team in nearby Yokosuka, Japan, best known as the home of the United States 7th Fleet, he allowed 4 hits, no runs, and struck out 6 in 4 innings before 2,600 fans. The minor league park usually draws a few hundred spectators. The team said live streaming views reached 77,000, 15 times the usual 5,000. I thought the day went really well, Bauer said. The staff was good, the command was good, the health was good. I feel like I'm ready to compete now, but I have to build my pitch count. Bauer said he was not sure when he would be ready to start for the big club. He seems likely to get another minor league start before moving up. Despite not pitching in a competitive game since 2021, he said it all felt familiar. Now it's time for latest basketball story. Andrew Wiggins gave the Golden State Warriors almost everything they wanted in his first game in more than 2 months. Then, with a chance to win it at the end, Wiggins missed and the Warriors lost 126-123 to the Sacramento Kings in Game 1 of their first round series Saturday night. Wiggs was great, Kerr said. So awesome to have him back. We are whole with him. Our team makes sense with Wiggs back. He was fantastic. It was wonderful to have him back. Wiggins returned after missing the final 25 games of the regular season to deal with an undisclosed family matter. He rejoined the team earlier this month and got back on the court for a game for the first time since February 13. Wiggins brought needed energy and scoring in his 28 minutes off the bench with 17 points, 3 rebounds and 4 blocked shots. He was super aggressive teammate, Draymond Green said. The fact that he was aggressive, you can live with him missing some shots. To enter into a playoff game after not playing after 2.5 months is big. It's huge. He's our go-to guy when we need stops on the defensive end. The only thing missing from Wiggins' game was his long-range shooting. He went 1 for 8 from 3-point range and missed a potential go-ahead 3 from the corner in the closing seconds. Now it's time for latest boxing story. YouTube star Jake Paul will take on UFC veteran Nick Diaz in an 8-round, 185-pound boxing match on August 5 in Dallas. Paul tweeted that day will be a funeral for Nathaniel Diaz as we send him back to UFC President Dana White. Refreshments will be provided at the service, Black Tie attire. That Twitter post was the latest in a back-and-forth exchange that led up to the announcement Wednesday. Their team members also got into an altercation during an October event promoting Paul's fight against former UFC champion Anderson Silva. After Paul beat Silva by unanimous decision, he said he wanted to fight Diaz. But Paul lost his most recent fight to Tommy Fury in February by split decision. My last fight didn't end the way I wanted, but the result was the best thing that could have happened to my professional boxing aspirations, Paul said in a statement. Now the world thinks I am vulnerable, when all I am is more focused than ever. My team wanted me to take an easy fight, but that's not how I am built. Nate Diaz is considered one of the toughest fighters of all time, but he and his team have been running their mouths for too long. Diaz is 21-13 in the UFC, winning his most recent bout with a submission of Tony Ferguson at UFC 279 in September. Now let's have some soccer news. Arsenal threw away another 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 with West Ham on Sunday and prompt further questions over the Premier League leaders' title bid. A week after drawing with Liverpool by the same score, Mikel Arteta's team was held by relegation fighting West Ham at London Stadium. Gabriel Jesus and Martin Odegaard had fired Arsenal into a controlling lead, but a Said Benrahma penalty and another goal from Gerard Bowen meant the Gunners could only extend their lead over second-place Manchester City to 4 points. Defending champions City have a game in hand and also host Arsenal at Etihad Stadium later this month. Very disappointing, Arsenal manager Arteta said afterward. The way we started was superb again. We were in total control, then we lost purpose. We gave them hope, conceded a terrible penalty, then credit to them. We got on the roller coaster where everything is going, corners and throw-ins, and we never got away from that. City had cut Arsenal's lead to 3 points after beating Leicester 3-1 on Saturday. Antony was at his lethal best as Manchester United beat Nottingham Forest 2-0 in the Premier League on Sunday, days after the Brazil international was described by manager Erik ten Hag as a player who can kill opponents. Antony scored 1 goal and made another at the City grounds as United moved up to third and took another step toward Champions League qualification. The 95 million signing from Ajax opened the scoring when turning the ball over the line after Anthony Martial's shot was saved by Keylor Navas in the 32nd minute. And after Forest's on-loan Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper pulled off his string of saves to prevent United extending the lead, Antony turned provider to set up Diogo Dalot in the 76th. The forward has been criticized since arriving at Old Trafford last summer for his lack of goals and inconsistent performances. But Ten Hag, who coached Antony at Ajax, has repeatedly defended him. In the absence of injured leading scorer Marcus Rashford, United needed someone to come up with the goals against Forest, and it was Antony who stepped up with his first in the league since October. He might have scored more if not for the brilliance of Neves, but the former Real Madrid keeper could not deny Dalot after Antony's weaving run set up the United defender to seal the win. Barcelona's winless run continued with a 0-0 draw at Getafe in the Spanish league on Sunday, allowing second-place Real Madrid to cut its rivals' huge lead to 11 points with 9 rounds remaining. It was the third straight game without a victory for the Catalan club. Madrid, which is mostly focused on the Champions League and the Copa del Rey, won 2-0 at Cadiz on Saturday. Seeking its first league title since 2019, Barcelona had also been held to a scoreless draw by Girona at home in the previous round. Before that, it endured a demoralizing 4-0 loss to Madrid at the Camp Nou in the Copa del Rey semi-finals. Barcelona had won 5 in a row before the defeat against Madrid in the Copa. Barcelona's next match is at home against third-place Atletico Madrid, which later Sunday hosts relegation-threatened Almeria and is looking to win its 6th straight to get back within 2 points of Madrid. The league is the only competition Barcelona can still win in the rest of the season. It won the Spanish Super Cup in a final against Madrid earlier this year, but was eliminated in both the Champions League and the Europa League. Getafe, which hasn't won in 3 consecutive league matches, stayed in 15th place, 4 points above the relegation zone. Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi scored first-half goals as Paris Saint-Germain beat 10-man Lens 3-1 at the Parc des Princes on Saturday to charge 9 points clear at the top of Ligue 1. Mbappe reached another landmark in the match as his first half goal against Lens made him Paris Saint-Germain's all-time top scorer in Ligue 1 history with 139 goals. The 24-year-old striker, who netted his 139th goal in his 169th league match, surpassed Edinson Cavani's tally of 138 goals with his 20th goal of the season. Earlier in March, Mbappe scored his 201st goal against Nantes to become PSG's leading goal scorer in all competitions in the club's history. Mbappe surpassed Cavani's tally in far fewer games, while the Uruguayan took 301 games to score his 200 goals. Mbappe needed just 247. Now it's time for latest cricket updates. Top T20 batter Suryakumar Yadav roared back to form as Mumbai Indians beat Kolkata Knight Riders by 5 wickets with 14 balls remaining in the Indian Premier League on Sunday, despite a century from Venkatesh Iyer. Yadav, who had scored only 16 runs in his last 6 innings across white ball cricket, smacked 43 of 25 balls to propel Mumbai's 186 for 5 in 17.4 overs in reply to Kolkata's 185 for 6. Iyer became only the second Kolkata batter to score an IPL 100, even as his effort went in vain. After his team was asked to bat first, he made 104 runs off 51 balls, including 6 fours and 9 sixes. Iyer came into bat at number 3 after opener Narayan Jagdishan fell for a dog. All-rounder Arjun Tendulkar, the son of cricket great Sachin Tendulkar, made a much-awaited debut for Mumbai and bowled an impressive opening spell, although he didn't pick up a wicket. Iyer reached 50 of only 23 balls and continued his charge even as the other Kolkata batsmen struggled to get going. Andre Russell's 21 not out was the second highest score of the innings and the only other Kolkata batter to hit a 6. Iyer scored 50 more runs of 26 balls to reach his first IPL 100 of 49 balls. It was the second century of the IPL season after Sunrisers Hyderabad's Harry Brook against Kolkata on Friday. Skipper Babar Azam smashed a magnificent century, while pace bowler Haris Rauf took 4 wickets as Pakistan beat New Zealand by 38 runs in the second T20 international in Lahore on Saturday. Azam, who fell for just 9 in his 100th T20 international on Friday, compensated with a brisk 58-ball 101 not out to lift Pakistan to a solid 192 for 4 in their 20 overs. Rauf, who took a career-best 4-18 in Pakistan's 88-run win in the series opener, finished with 4 for 27 to restrict New Zealand to 154 for 7. Pakistan now lead the 5-match series 2-0 with the last 3 matches in Lahore and Rawalpindi. Mark Chapman scored a battling 65 not out for New Zealand, featuring 4 fours and as many sixes, but lost partners at regular intervals after the tourists made a decent start. Chad and skipper Tom Latham put on 44 for the first wicket in 6.2 overs, but as the asking rate soared, New Zealand's chase lost steam. Azam was the mainstay of the Pakistan innings after he owned the toss and chose to bat. Now some other sports news. Roger Federer posted a heartfelt tribute as Lionel Messi was recently named on Time's list of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2023. Tennis legend Federer brought an end to his illustrious career in September 2022 and Messi posted a classy and heartfelt tribute for the Swiss maestro. A genius unique in the history of tennis and an example for any athlete. All the best in your new stage. We will miss seeing you on the court, making us enjoy, Messi wrote in his tribute. Messi has been named in Time magazine's 100 most influential people of 2023 after captaining his team to World Cup victory and completing football. Federer, who is arguably the greatest tennis player of all time, has paid a tribute to Messi in the award announcement list, comparing his football to art. Lionel Messi's goal-scoring records and championship wins need no recounting here. What stands out to me about Messi is his consistent greatness over so many years. This is so difficult to achieve and then maintain. He dribbles like a magician, and his angular passes are works of art. His awareness and anticipation are almost beyond comprehension. Federer wrote, "My career has just come to an end. I now realize how much weight we athletes carry, but in our daily lives we don't even realize it. For a football player like Messi, that weight likely feels more massive, as he represents both a world-renowned club and a very passionate country," he added. Trinity Thomas of Florida tied the NCAA record with her 28th career perfect 10, and Oklahoma won its second consecutive team title Saturday at the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships. It's the top-ranked Sooners' sixth title in 9 years. They finished with 198.3875 points, 0.15 ahead of Thomas and the second-ranked Gators. Audrey Davis scored a 9.900 on the floor before teammate Jordan Bowers, who soared high on a double pike, earned the event's top score of 9.950. Thomas, a fifth-year senior, was limited to just 2 events due to a leg injury suffered 2 weeks ago in the regional round. She recorded her 5th career 10 on the vault and 28th overall to match the mark set by Jamie Dancer and Jenny Hansen. Hansen is the only person to win 3 straight all-around titles. Thomas wrapped up her stellar collegiate career with a chance to break the record in her final event, but finished with 9.912 on the buzz. Florida teammates Kayla DeSallo and Lynn Ong each earned 9.975 to help the Gators finish with 198.2375 points, 3/10 of a point ahead of Utah. The Utes, who finished third for the third consecutive year, were led by Miley O'Keefe. The senior, who had a 10 on the beam Thursday en route to the all-around title, registered her 6th perfect score of the season on beam. The Ukrainian government has barred its national sports teams from competing at international events, which also include athletes from Russia and its ally Belarus. The decree published by the Ministry of Youth and Sports follows opposition from Ukraine to efforts by the International Olympic Committee to reintegrate Russian and Belarusian competitors into events as neutrals without national symbols. It could pressure global sports bodies to choose between admitting Russians and Belarusians or risking a Ukrainian boycott. After Ukraine signaled last month it would seek to block its athletes from competing against Russians and Belarusians, the IOC said any such move would hurt only the Ukrainian athlete community. The IOC did not immediately respond to a request for comment Friday. The decree only refers to national team delegations, and it was not clear if it would affect individual Ukrainian players on the men's and women's tennis tours, where Russian and Belarusian players have continued playing as neutrals. It was also unclear how the measure might affect men's soccer amid ongoing qualification for next year's European Championship. European soccer body UEFA allows Belarus to compete, but not Russia. Ukraine and Belarus are playing in different qualifying groups and cannot be drawn together in the playoffs. That's all in today's sports world. Keep watching Millennium Sports World for latest sports updates. Millennium TV US and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment programs. Thank you.